I've been dealing with a frustrating issue on my 8th generation Honda Civic. The driver's door handle stopped working. Every time I try to open the door from the inside, nothing happens. The handle moves, but the latch does not engage, leaving me to roll down the window and open the door from the outside. Now, since the door opens fine from the outside, that tells me the latch itself is most likely working properly. The problem is probably with the interior door handle or the cable connected to it. To figure it out, I will have to remove the door trim and take a closer look. Start by locating the small plastic cover that sits just behind the interior door handle. Use a small flathead screwdriver to carefully pry this cover open. Once removed, it will expose a screw that secures the panel in place. Take a Phillips head screwdriver and remove the screw. Next, look for the round plastic retainer clip near the door handle. This clip is designed with a center pin that locks it in place. To release it, gently push the center of the pin inward. You can then use a pick tool to pull out the clip. If you prefer, you can leave this step for later, since the clip will usually come out along with the door panel once the center pin has been pressed. Now move on to the window switch panel. Using a trim removal tool or a flathead screwdriver, carefully pry up the panel from one side. Work it free until it pops up, then lift it out. On the underside, you will see two electrical connectors. To disconnect them, press down on the locking tab for each connector and gently pull them out. With the switch panel removed, you will notice there's a hidden screw underneath. Take your Phillips head screwdriver again and remove the screw. At this point, the main fasteners holding the door panel are gone, so it's time to release the clips. Start at the bottom edge of the panel and slide your trim removal tool between the panel and the door. Pry outward gently. You will hear a series of pops as each clip comes loose. Work your way around the entire panel until every clip is released. Once all the clips are free, grip the door panel firmly with both hands and lift it straight upward. This motion will unlock the panel from the window track at the top, allowing you to pull it completely away from the door. On the back side of the door panel, you will still see the interior door handle assembly attached. To remove it, press in the locking tabs on the side of the handle and slide it out of the panel. Now that I have the door panel off, I can finally take a closer look at the door handle assembly. And right away, I can see exactly what the problem is. The plastic piece that's supposed to hold the end of the cable securely in place has broken off. Because of that, every time I pull the handle, the cable just slips out of the hole instead of pulling on the latch. With no support, the handle can't do its job. As you can see, the other cable for the lock is still intact. And this is exactly how it should look like. This is a pretty tricky situation, because it's not the handle itself that's broken, but this small unique plastic clip that's molded as part of the assembly. Unfortunately, parts like this aren't usually sold separately. That means I might have to replace the entire interior cable assembly just to fix this one broken piece, which can be time consuming and costly for such a minor issue. Instead, I'm going to try a quick DIY solution. So what I'm doing here is taking a piece of copper wire and wrapping it tightly around the end of the cable and the body of the handle. This should keep the cable from sliding out of its slot when the handle is pulled. It's not the perfect fix, and it may not be as durable as replacing the whole cable, but it's a simple workaround that should get the handle working again without needing to hunt down an entire replacement assembly. I'm also putting some silicone grease on both the cable and the copper wire so they slide smoothly against each other and don't wear out or break from friction over time. Now that the copper wire is wrapped and holding the cable in place, I'm going to give the handle a test. As you can see, the cable moves just like it should, and it stays seated without slipping out of its slot. Looks like the fix is working. I think we are ready to reassemble everything back together. Reattach the handle assembly back to the door panel. Make sure it's clipped in securely so it doesn't shift around once the panel is back on. Now position the door panel against the door. Start by aligning the top edge of the panel with the window seal. This part is a bit tricky. Make sure the entire upper edge of the panel sits flush against the window channel. Then gently slide the panel downwards so it locks into place along the top. Once the top edge is seated properly, press the rest of the panel firmly against the door panel. As you work your way around, you will hear the plastic clips snapping back in. Start at the bottom and move up along the sides, pressing evenly to make sure every clip engages. This will ensure the panel sits flat and doesn't rattle later. Now reinstall the screw located under the window switch panel. Before snapping the switch panel back into place, reconnect the two electrical connectors. Press down on each connector until it clicks, then tuck the wires back in neatly. Once the connectors are secured, slide the switch panel into its slot and press it down firmly until it snaps flush with the rest of the panel. After that, reinstall the screw behind the interior door handle. Then reinsert the round plastic retainer clip by pushing it back into its hole and pressing the center pin to lock it. Finally, snap the small trim cover back over the screw behind the handle to finish it off. Now that the panel is back on, it's time to test the handle. And it works. Great. Now if the car bursts into flames, at least I stand a fighting chance. If you found this video helpful, give it a like and consider subscribing to Weez Joint for more DIY automotive troubleshooting guides. Thanks for watching.